Jennifer Lopez has found herself caught up in the latest accusations against Jay-Z after a leaked photo of her and P. Diddy fighting at one of his infamous parties went viral. Jennifer Lopez has been linked to Jay-Z's essay allegations after photos surfaced of her arguing with Diddy on the night of the alleged incident. These old after-party photos of Jay-Z and Diddy have appeared on social media amid horrific allegations. The lady claimed that she was essayed when she was a young woman by Jay-Z and Diddy. In the newly surfaced photo, Jennifer Lopez can also be seen now, and Lopez, who dated Combs from 1999-2001 and were considered to actually be one of the most famous high-profile couples of the Hollywood entertainment industry, hogging the limelight and capturing media attention of the late 90s, is seen in photos arguing with Combs at the after-party. Now, to give a brief backstory, J-Lo and Diddy dated from 1999-2001, and their relationship witnessed everything from glamorous appearances, emotional turbulence, and eventually even legal troubles. And when Diddy was in a relationship with Jennifer, he had an infatuation with Kim Porter, who would go on to be the mother of his 3 children, Christian, and twin daughters, Jessie and Delilah. She sadly passed away in 2018, and that's a whole different can of worms to open, so we won't even get into that right now. So going back to this lawsuit, there was a third female celebrity listed in it, and while there was no suggestion that Lopez is the unnamed third celebrity in the lawsuit, the resurfacing of these photos has drawn renewed attention to her past relationship with Combs. Now, after the case was filed, Jay-Z called the allegations idiotic and heinous in nature in a statement released by one of his companies. He also revealed that he had anonymously sued the woman's lawyer, Tony Busby, in California, alleging Busby was trying to blackmail him by threatening to make the allegation public if he didn't agree to a legal settlement. Jay-Z said a letter his lawyer received from Busby appeared to seek a settlement but had the opposite effect. He said, "It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion, so no, I will not give you one red penny." The lawsuit, originally filed in October, claims that the victim, who identified only as Jane Doe, was unknowingly put under the influence by an illegal substance, she said, after consuming like a reddish yellow drink. She then began feeling woozy and lightheaded and was allegedly essayed by both Combs and Jay-Z. It also claims the third celebrity stood by and watched the events unfold. Lopez has yet to publicly comment on the lawsuit or the resurfaced images. The litigation is part of a wave of essay lawsuits against Combs as this hip-hop mogul remains in custody in New York awaiting trial on federal charges. An updated complaint in a civil case against Combs alleges that Jay-Z and Combs essayed the girl at an after-party following the MTV Video Music Awards in September of 2000. Now, according to the allegations, Combs aggressively approached the victim with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her, and said, "You ready to party?" Incidentally, in the complaint, the woman alleged that Combs and Carter took turns with her. Many others were present at the after-party but did nothing to stop it. Colin Rugg, who shared the photos on X, formerly known as Twitter, said, "Here are photos of the party. Jay-Z is in the red shirt. I had previously shared this lawsuit on X, but Jay-Z was not named. He was referred to as Celebrity A. Here are some celebrities who were in attendance at the party: Jay-Z, J-Lo, Ben Stiller." The lawsuit was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York, and at the time did not actually name Jay-Z as a defendant, though the amended lawsuit says that Jay-Z was identified as Celebrity A on the original complaint. Tony Busby, the Texas lawyer representing the girl who filed Sunday's lawsuit, has filed at least 20 civil lawsuits against Combs, accusing him of misconduct. Busby, in his amended lawsuit, says his legal firm had previously sent Jay-Z a letter seeking to mediate a settlement. The lawsuit says he responded to that letter by filing a lawsuit against Busby and by orchestrating a conspiracy of harassment against Busby and other lawyers in his firm, which the lawyer said was an intimidation tactic meant to silence his client. In a post on social media, Busby said the alleged victim he is representing never demanded a penny from Jay-Z, writing that she only sought a confidential mediation. In the recent days, though, the woman who has accused Jay-Z and Sean Combs of essaying her when she was a young woman shared new details about her recollection of the night of the alleged incident. Now, in an interview with NBC News, the woman, now a 38-year-old mother of two who lives in Alabama, said she stayed quiet for over 24 years because she felt no one would have believed her. She said, even if somebody found out, who was gonna believe me? I mean, it was the words of two celebrities against mine. Among the new details, the Alabama woman claimed that during the alleged incident, Jay-Z placed his hand over her mouth and told her to stop when she resisted. In a statement, Jay-Z denied the new and old allegations, continuing to say that the complaint was filed in pursuit of money and fame. He added, this incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon. Combs has denied all allegations against him. His legal team said that now a plaintiff of Busby's has been exposed for falsely claiming to be a victim. This is the beginning of the end of the shameful money grab. Combs' attorney said that in a shared statement. And the alleged victim's decision to refile her lawsuit to include Jay-Z was a major development, as he is the only other high-profile defendant named in the case alongside Combs. It's hard to say whether or not Jennifer Lopez, now being dragged into all of this, will or will not talk about it privately or publicly. Many believe she should provide some sort of explanation or clarity around what exactly went on in the photos. Was she arguing, or was it a moment captured by a bad angle that made it look more sinister than not?
Diddy will be in jail for a very long time for the crimes he committed at his infamous parties. But now, with photos and videos being leaked of the big bashes, some celebrities are scared as they could be implicated with his crimes. Now, since Diddy's arrest, various photos and videos have been leaked and have resurfaced, and celebs are panicking over it. Now, starting off, there's Ashton Kutcher. Now, past footage of him at one of Diddy's white parties, having a good time on a swing, has been going around. Also, photos of him and his then-wife Demi Moore have resurfaced. With this, people have looked more into Ashton and Diddy's past friendship, and it's honestly concerning. Ashton was actually really close with Diddy, and he once said, if you're a single man, there's probably no greater human being in the world to hang out with. This is 20 years ago, 19 years ago. We were having a lot of fun together. Then, concerning footage of Ashton not being able to name an appropriate favorite Diddy party memory surfaced. While appearing on Hot Ones, host Sean Evans asked Ashton for his favorite memory at a Diddy party, but Ashton said, I've got a lot I can't tell. He laughed and said, I can't tell that one either. So if he can't tell those stories, how bad were they? But it said that Ashton himself is worried about what could happen with this whole Diddy situation. An insider source revealed that Ashton absolutely regrets his friendship with Diddy, considering what has happened. He feels lied to, betrayed, taken for granted, and manipulated. Everyone who was close to Diddy fears the possibility of Diddy making up false allegations to clear his own name. Although Kutcher is frightened by the prospect of being involved in the case, he is also prepared to completely cooperate with authorities because he has nothing to hide. Now, in the past, Diddy once named Leo as the #1 person on his white party invitation list, which raises some eyebrows. I mean, you don't just say that. Now, people have been looking at Leo strange, but a source close to Leo says that he's not been in contact with Diddy for years, saying he never attended freak-offs and has nothing to do with the case. Now, the pair were last seen together in 2019 when Leo attended Diddy's 50th birthday party. But a source went on to say, Leonardo DiCaprio has absolutely nothing to do with any of this. He attended a few of his parties back in the early 2000s, but literally everyone did. They were not freak-offs, they were big house parties. Leo was at the start of his career at the time and has moved way past his partying. He has nothing to do with any of that world, so for anyone to assume that he will get roped into this based on a few grainy photos that are more than 20 years old is ridiculous. Then, of course, there's the Kardashians. Kim and Khloe Kardashian have been spotted at multiple Diddy parties, and in recent years, the whole Kar-Jenner family have been spotted with Diddy. They posted about it on social media, talked about him on their reality shows, and Khloe even had Diddy on as a guest on her show Cocktails with Khloe. Now they have a real deep friendship, but fans noticed that Kim unfollowed Diddy since the raid on his houses. Khloe, though, still has an Instagram photo up of her, Diddy, and her sisters together, and captioned the post, "No party like a Diddy party." Yeah. Then there's the fact that Kris Jenner is dating Corey Gamble, who was good friends with Diddy. An insider said that Corey was aware of Diddy's controversial engagements, and a lot of people believe that Corey must have had some knowledge of what was going on. Now, an insider also noted, though, that he totally denies these allegations. However, it's been said that Kris has already started to plan her family's rescue in case things get dirty for her daughters. It's all very ugly and very embarrassing, and Kris is scrambling to distance them all from this and distract everyone, but that's going to be impossible if they get called to testify. Now, another source said all these years that they bragged about partying with Diddy have of course got everyone assuming that they were somehow involved in these deprived freak-offs. They then asserted that the family had no idea of the sorts of twisted things he was up to after hours. Now, talking to In Touch magazine, the insider continued, Diddy had plenty of glamorous parties over the years that weren't freak-offs, at least not until the early morning hours when the majority of people had left. Now, the insider suggests that Kris is presently scrambling to distance them from all of this, and I can't blame her. Then there's the VHS tape that was recently leaked. Now, a source sent page 6 of VHS tape that was sent out as an invitation to Diddy's 29th birthday in 1998. It begins with a strange home video style skit in which Danny DeVito, lying on a sofa under a blanket, says, "That's right, Puff Daddy is having a party, and this is Puff Daddy inviting you to come. Let's have a ball." Then a group of celebs take turns reading from a script detailing the date and time, exactly how fabulous and expensive the party will be, and then reading an address to RSVP to. They then said that the venue would be revealed later. Now, this group of celebrities includes Oprah, Ellen DeGeneres, Chris Rock, Mariah Carey, Will Smith, and Joan Rivers, to name a few. It's also been said that the whole video is 6 minutes long, but just over a minute of it was posted. Now, what happens in the other 5 minutes of it? No one really knows. People who have seen this, though, claim that the celebs involved in the tape should be looked at as potential accomplices in Diddy's case, as they appear to be good friends with him and have close ties. And hey, I gotta say, I agree with this. I mean, everyone should be looked into, as the crimes Diddy is being accused of are absolutely disgusting, and he clearly was not alone committing them. Now, Ray J, who is friends with Diddy, has spoken out about how some celebrities are paying off their victims when it comes to the freak-offs. Ray J said, "I'm hearing about artists paying victims to keep their names out of it." Now, Tony Busby, the attorney representing more than 120 alleged victims, disclosed that he has sent out demand letters to the celebrities, asking them to pay up or face the consequences. Now, Tony had previously mentioned that investigations into Diddy's case had implicated several Hollywood big shots. He has disclosed that he's now going after other celebrities, though, who attended Diddy's freak-offs, even if they did nothing wrong. In a new appearance on TMZ's documentary, The Downfall of Diddy, Inside the Freak-Offs, Tony claims such big names are as guilty as those who perpetrated the crimes, explaining that their silence and unwillingness to stand against it makes them liable. Now, I wonder if any of the celebrities we mentioned before were sent these letters. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And I mean, in a September 17th letter to a judge arguing for Diddy to be jailed until he is brought to trial, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams claimed that his office has the testimony of dozens of witnesses and victims to his serial mistreatment and evidence from dozens of his own electronic devices and those of his co-conspirators. Investigators have taken in more than 90 cell phones, laptops, cloud storage accounts, as well as at least 30 storage devices. They issued more than 300 grand jury jury subpoenas to obtain this evidence from communication providers, tech and social media companies, financial institutions, and Diddy's companies. Prosecutors allegedly have dozens of videos depicting Diddy's so-called freak-offs that corroborate witness testimony. So who knows really how many people were involved in all of this. We've been finding out more and more information about Diddy recently, and somehow Britney Spears has been involved in all of this. Yep, you heard that right, so let's look into her involvement. TriStar Sports and Entertainment Group is the celebrity management firm that previously came under fire for its alleged involvement in Britney Spears' conservatorship battle. Turns out though, they also have a connection to Diddy. The company's founder, president, and CEO is none other than Britney's former business manager, Lou M. Taylor, who she accused of playing a key role in the conservatorship's implementation in 2008. Now, we know that sketchy things were happening with Britney, so who knows what horrible things this group has done in connection to Diddy. Now, Lou actually managed Diddy too, as she confirmed it in 2019. Britney has also previously called out TriStar Services director Robin Greenhill, who was recently mentioned in a civil lawsuit against Diddy by producer Rodney Little Rod Jones. In 2021, it was revealed that Greenhill was in control of Britney's credit cards, medications, and that TriStar had allegedly used Britney's own money to hire a security team to surveil her during her conservatorship, which is honestly just crazy. Now, Britney even spoke out about Greenhill in her memoir, labeling her a weird blank lackey, and accused the pair, along with her own father, Jamie Spears, of bullying her. Now, it was also previously reported by the Los Angeles Times that Britney's legal team was investigating the alleged $18 million that TriStar obtained from her estate over the span of the conservatorship, which was terminated by a judge in November 2021 after 13 years. TriStar, Taylor, and Greenhill have all denied the allegations and have insisted that Britney's conservatorship was put forth by recommendation of legal counsel, not TriStar, and approved by the court for more than 12 years. Now, they mistreated Britney so poorly, and it appears that they helped Diddy cause harms to others. Now, Greenhill's name was back in the press this year after Rodney Little Rod Jones filed a $30 million lawsuit against Diddy, claiming that he mistreated and took advantage of him. Now, Rodney also claimed that Diddy made him a witness to multiple crimes against his own will as well. Now, how does this relate to Britney? Well, she accused the company and its founder, her former manager, Lou Taylor, of helping create and benefiting from the conservatorship agreement put in place by her father, Jamie Spears, in 2008, which she described as traumatizing in her court statements. Now, Britney claimed that TriStar had received $18 million in the conservatorship arrangement, even though Britney didn't have access to her own earnings. Now, the New York Times reported that Greenhill had been an important agent in the company's interest in the conservatorship by controlling her credit cards and medications well beyond what one would expect a pop star's management company to do. Now, a lot of the company's inner workings for how it manages its accounts are kept under lock and key, the paper reported, with two former employees saying they weren't allowed to access basic information like income statements or balance sheets. TriStar first tried to deny it helped originate Britney's conservatorship, which her attorney challenged by presenting the court with an email that showed its reps discussing the arrangement at its origination. The New York Times documentary about Britney's case included allegations that TriStar and Greenhill specifically had operated an elaborate surveillance apparatus to spy on the pop star. But how did this all start? Well, everyone knows about Britney's meltdowns in 2006 and 2007. Now, later, at the beginning of 2008, she was put on a 5150 hold in the hospital. A week after this, she was sent back to the hospital on a 5150 hold again, and her father Jamie was granted temporary conservatorship over the star. Now, soon after the conservatorship was in place, she said her father said, "I just want to let you know, I call the shots. You sit there in that chair and I'll tell you what goes on," she recalled. "I looked at him with a growing sense of horror. I'm Britney Spears now," he said. Now, Britney also spoke out about the 13-year conservatorship, and she hit out at her dad Jamie in the explosive memoir as she opened up about the unrelenting control her family had over her, which, looking back, makes her feel sick. Now, people in Hollywood knew that this was happening but didn't do anything. Finally, in 2019, fans started to realize that something was wrong, and they created the Free Britney movement. Now, with fans backing Britney up, she felt like she finally had a voice and requested the conservatorship to end. Now, she and her father appeared in court multiple times over the year, and on November 12, 2021, the conservatorship was finally over. Now, it seems like TriStar and its employees are always getting in trouble and should honestly be investigated. While Britney is free now, some people don't think she got the justice she deserved. Now that TriStar is intertwined with Diddy, maybe the company and its employees will now be held accountable. Now, Diddy, though, for his part, claims that he's innocent. Now, Diddy is currently awaiting trial at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. He's proposed different bail packages, but they've all been denied. Defense lawyer Alexandra Shapiro asked them to release Diddy on a $50 million bond, which would be backed by his $48 million Miami home and co-signed by several of his family members. Now, she also proposed that Diddy be monitored around the clock by security personnel, be subjected to at-home detention, and have no contact with alleged victims or witnesses. One of the judges who denied this package, Judge Robin Tarnofsky, sided with U.S. Attorney's argument that Diddy posed a risk if he were to be released for home detention. She said, "I don't believe that counsel has the ability to control you, given the very significant concerns I have, particularly because of substance use and what seems like anger issues. The danger, I think, is quite serious," she added of Diddy's release, deciding that the bond package his team offered would not assure his return to court or the safety of the community or lack of witness tampering. In a September 17th letter to the judge arguing for Diddy to be jailed until he was brought to trial, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams claimed that his office has the testimony of dozens of witnesses and victims to his serial mistreatment and evidence from dozens of his own electronic devices and those of his co-conspirators. Investigators have taken in more than 90 cell phones, laptops, cloud storage accounts, as well as at least 30 storage devices. They issued more than 300 grand jury subpoenas to obtain this evidence from communication providers, tech and social media companies, financial institutions, and Diddy's companies. Prosecutors allegedly have dozens of videos depicting Diddy's so-called freak-offs that corroborate witness testimony. So it's safe to say that there's plenty of evidence that will keep Diddy in jail.
Puff Daddy is currently facing some serious allegations that have tarnished the reputation he built for himself in the music industry and beyond. Once a close-knit circle of celebrity friends seems to be distancing themselves in the wake of these serious allegations. Well, there's a leaked VHS tape allegedly sent as an invitation to Puffy's 29th birthday back in 1998 that has further raised a number of eyebrows. So known for his love of partying, Puff Daddy has never shied away from going out and about while hosting such events, although some of his current legal troubles reportedly stem from similar gatherings. But I digress. So the nearly 6-minute long video serves both as a time capsule from the peak of the bad boy era and as a reminder of how far Puff Daddy, who even skipped this year's Grammy Awards and is now kind of, out of action, has slipped socially amid the investigation. So the tape, which arrived in the hands of the most powerful and glamorous players in LA and New York in a black velvet pouch with the birthday gala, November 4th, 1998 written on it in white script, features, wait for it folks, Oprah, Ellen DeGeneres, Chris Rock, Mariah Carey, Magic Johnson, Will Smith, Ben Stiller, Joan Rivers, Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, Tommy Hilfiger, Clive Davis, Ronald Perlman, Penny Marshall, Stephen Baldwin, and so many more. And they're all taking turns to hype the bash, encouraging the recipients to RSVP and to goof off for the camera. It all begins with a strange home video style skit in which Danny DeVito, lying on a sofa under a blanket, is like, "That's right, Puff Daddy's having a party, and this is Puff Daddy inviting you to come. Let's have a ball." And then the cavalcade of A-listers take turns reading from a script detailing the date and time, exactly how fabulous and expensive the affair will be, and then reading an address to RSVP to. Apparently the venue, which turned out to be Cipriani Wall Street, would be revealed later. One person refers to the "I'll Be Missing You" rapper as the legendary Puff Daddy. Some folks, including Ellen DeGeneres, tease him for his many monikers. Some other folks make fun of their own unease with hip-hop slang. One reliable source who attended the bash said, I've forgotten how much was made of the party in the press. I think bigger celebs and moguls were fascinated by the chutzpah of this 29-year-old. The Daily News reported that at the time, the bash cost $600,000 and 1,600 people were on that list. The Observer compared it to Truman Capote's black and white ball at the Plaza, writing that while Truman's party was more for the creme de la creme of society, Puff Daddy was celebrating the kind of high-profile commercial success and notoriety that knows no bounds. So for decades, these parties were the place to be. Puff Daddy had all sorts of them. He had his annual Hamptons White Party. We had a number of blow-up birthday bashes like the one I just mentioned. There were these lavish champagne and caviar-filled soirees, and these were attended by the likes of Jay-Z, Beyonce, J-Lo, Leonardo DiCaprio, and so many more. There was chatter. Leonardo DiCaprio did step back after a snap from one of the infamous parties came to light, and a friend of his mentioned, look, he just went to a party, it wasn't that big of a deal, they weren't super close, but look, back when Leonardo showed up at Puff Daddy's white party, the music star had tagged Leonardo as the #1 person he wanted at the bash. But apparently a source close to the situation is no, Leo had no connection with Puff Daddy ever since that party in 1998. The insider made it clear that the actor was not involved in the freak-offs. Well, a source shares that they were known to be wild. Anything went to those parties. And ever since all those legal things have been coming into light this year, there's been a lot of speculation about what goes on there. There's been talks of rooms just for getting it on. There's been rampant substance use. There's been these all-night getting it on situations. Apparently, and these freak-offs were mentioned in the 14-page indictment, victims were, given substances against their will, forced to participate in extended performances that could last days at a time with professional workers. These things took place at hotels. Now, we gotta remember that Puff Daddy did plead not guilty to the charges and has denied all claims of SA. How much or how little did his A-list guests actually see at these crazy parties? Well, a couple of celebs have not been tight-lipped. In a 2014 episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Khloe Kardashian recalled hitting up a Puff Daddy bash in Las Vegas, and she's like, yeah, this party, I think half the people were in the nude. And when asked about what went down when somebody else attended, Ashton Kutcher was like, I got a lot I can't say. And he said that verbatim in 2019 on Hot Ones. He's like, yeah, going through my little Rolodex of stories, can't tell that one either. In 2016, Howard Stern asked Usher, who lived with Puff Daddy for a year when he was, getting a start in the industry. And Howard Stern was like, hey, would you let anybody in your family go to one of those parties? Usher was like, nope. So obviously following all of this, a lot of folks are like, okay, we were maybe at the parties, but we didn't see anything. 50 Cent has been very, very vocal for a very long time, being like, nope, I didn't go to those parties. It's an uncomfortable energy, which in retrospect, probably a very smart man. Puff Daddy's friend Ray J was like, I've never seen anything that's been said there. I've never been in rooms that people are talking about. I don't think they existed. A lot of people in the industry can agree with me on that sense. Now look, apparently all the unsavory behavior took place at the after parties. What happened before 2 a.m. pales into comparison to what happened at 5 a.m. There was a source who wrangled guests for these parties, and yeah, the high-profile celebs would apparently leave around 2 to 3 a.m., and that's when the party took a turn for the naughty. Folks would lose their clothes, which was apparently the signal for people to leave. That's when fun things would come out, and that's when it would turn into a bender. During an intimate discussion with Oprah, peeling away the layers of his complex life, Puff Daddy evoked curiosity by avoiding details about the origin of the Puff Daddy moniker. So this conversation was part of an interview for O Magazine, and Oprah was just casually asking. She's like, what's going on here? And Puffy was like, look, it's a nickname somebody gave me. And obviously Oprah being an interviewer, she was like, okay, but we're gonna prod here. And then Puff Daddy was like, look, I've never told anyone that. I know you get people to tell you everything, Oprah, but I can't look you in the eye and explain that one. He's like, no, we're gonna have a name change ceremony. I'm rocking with, a new moniker now. My man Biggie gave me that. So who else was at these parties? Mariah Carey, Paris Hilton were spotted enjoying the lavish and extravagant atmosphere. Going back to Usher, once again, so he was mentored by Puff Daddy. He was at a lot of these parties. He's mentioned a lot of the wild things, and he once, he kind of handed over Bieber. Other high-profile guests included music icon Diana Ross, Hollywood actor Owen Wilson, but we're gonna go back to Ashton Kutcher for a moment. Because even though he said, I can't talk about anything, and oh, I never did anything, Their friendship goes way back. In the mid-2000s, they were so close that they were like, oh, we're the new Rat Pack, us and Jamie Foxx. So when Ashton said like, hey, I can't talk about a lot of this, what can't you talk about? Because the Daily Mail is like, hey, we think you might be expecting a subpoena soon about what you do know. And sure, yeah, Puffy has said, nothing's happening. But if Ashton Kutcher is worried about potential betrayal, what would he be betrayed about?
Oprah Winfrey has been spotted in a video from 1998 inviting Hollywood stars to one of Diddy's infamous parties. Now she appears in the video clip inviting guests to the star-studded bash, Diddy's 29th birthday, and she is joined by other well-known celebrities gushing over the star and his multi-million parties. Now this is not a good look for Oprah. Now Oprah has had many controversies throughout her life, but being involved with Diddy might be the final nail in the coffin when it comes to her career. She and Diddy have appeared together at numerous charity events, and Oprah has featured Diddy on her show, where they discuss not only his career but also his charitable efforts. Now this appearance helped elevate Diddy's message about social responsibility and community engagement, which is kinda ironic if you think back to it now. Now this isn't the first time Oprah has been linked to some horrible men in the entertainment industry that have ended up behind bars. I mean, it's starting to become a pattern. When she was asked about this, she said she tried to focus less on the crimes and the victims' stories and instead inside the bigger picture, which a lot of people had issues with. Her former friend Seal took to Instagram to call her out for her suspicious behavior. "You have been a part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you're the solution," Seal said. "Oh, I forgot, that's right, you heard the rumors, but you had no idea he was actually doing those things to young starry-eyed actresses. My bad," he said. Yikes. Now it seems like Oprah definitely knew what was going on. What's strange is that Oprah has actually been a victim to the crimes Diddy has been accused of. You see, Oprah was born in Mississippi to a single teenage mother and grew up in extreme poverty. During her childhood, the cost of raising Oprah became too much for her mother to handle, so she was sent to live with her biological father. Since then, Oprah has come forward talking about how she had been mistreated and taken advantage of by her cousin, uncle, and a family friend. As a young teenager, and after suffering for years, she then ran away from home, and a year later she became pregnant. Now she gave birth to a son, but he was premature and passed away only a few weeks later. Now Oprah has used this story to show her strength and to inspire people, but it seems like she might have helped continue this cycle towards young girls. I mean, we have to talk about the whole sketchy situation about her all-girls school that she created. When the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls opened in Johannesburg in 2007, Nelson Mandela, Tina Turner, Sidney Poitier, Spike Lee, and Oprah herself attended the ribbon-cutting ceremony celebrating the landmark boarding school founded with $40 million of Oprah's money. But less than a year later, 6 of the 152 students who had been personally selected by Oprah to attend the institution came forward to accuse dorm matron Virginia Tiny McGobo of mistreating them. She was then arrested in November 2007 and released on bail, and she faced 14 different charges. "It has shaken me to my core," Oprah said, of the returning to South Africa with a team of private detectives to investigate the allegations and personally speak with the girls. "This has been one of the most devastating, if not the most devastating, experiences of my life." Now it seems like she and the organization did not look into who they were hiring and how the operation was running. I mean, this whole thing could have been avoided. Now following the first trial, Oprah was sued by the headmistress of the South African girls' school for defamation. She alleged that Oprah defamed her by implying that she covered up the mistreatment going on at the school. However, this case was later settled outside of court before an arranged trial, according to CNN. Now that's not all that happened here though, as speculation of numerous missing girls from the academy have spread like wildfire across social media. Now could Oprah have been taking the girls? That's definitely a possibility. Not to mention, parents also came forward with complaints about the school. In March 2007, some parents complained because they were only allowed to visit their children once a month, and the girls were only allowed to use their cell phones on weekends. One parent said, "It was a nightmare, we had only 2 hours to see my child. Surely this isn't a prison or an institution." Another mother said her homesick daughter was very upset over the rules. "Michelle phones me in tears sometimes, and then I don't know what to say to her." Shockingly, the school is still up and running, which is crazy considering ignoring all the scandals that have happened there. Then there's her canceled documentary. Oprah apparently spent a fortune to make sure the docuseries created about her never sees the light of day after clashing with Oscar-winning filmmaker and director Kevin McDonald over the project. As the Apple TV Plus deal was coming to an end, Miss Winfrey bought back the rights to her docuseries and has since decided to put the doc on hold, a spokesperson for Oprah told Page 6. In addition, another source said Kevin made the film, but Oprah didn't like it and he refused to change it, and Oprah has paid back her fee to Apple. Internet users reacted to the news that the documentary was putting on hold, and they were not impressed. Many questioned if Oprah was worried that some damaging information was set to become public. Well, now isn't this sketchy? One person wrote in Page 6's comment section. Another individual asked, what is she afraid of or hiding? Similar takes showed up on Twitter, as one person wrote, what is Oprah hiding? While another tweeted, Oprah Winfrey shelled out a fortune to prevent a documentary release. Sounds legit, money talks, right? Not the truth. Yeah, I gotta say that this is pretty sketchy sounding. Then we know she's mistreated people in the past, whether it be celebrities, guests on her shows, or even her own stepmother. Yep, it was reported that she was accused of being heartless to her own stepmother after she was kicked out of the 5-bedroom South Nashville home she shared with Oprah's father for 14 years. Barbara Winfrey told Daily Mail that her life had been deliberately ruined by the talk show legend following a bitter divorce with Vernon Winfrey. Oprah's a billionaire 3 times over, her help to live better than this, Barbara pointed out, adding she said publicly that she offered to sell the house and give me the proceeds, but that's a lie. She never said that. Oprah owns property all over the world, so there's no reason to sell this house other than to spite me. It's a personal vendetta, she said. Now, legal papers claim that Oprah was involved in a conspiracy to separate her father and stepmother and essentially make the latter homeless. What she has done is nothing short of evil, but she doesn't scare me. Her actions cause me to disrespect her, Barbara said. Now, it seems like Oprah is always at the scene of the crime, and online users have been convinced about her downfall for years. One online user posted this on Reddit, and I honestly have to agree with it. They said, Oprah Winfrey is not a hero, nor should she be considered a role model. Successful? Sure. A good role model? Not really. She's nice, and she's certainly not an awful person, but she also consistently promotes individuals on her show who peddle pseudoscientific nonsense to a massive crowd of guests and television viewers, Dr. Oz being one of the most famous examples. The willingness to promote this type of content either means that the Oprah Winfrey Network is unwilling to do background research into these guests and their claims, or that they will promote whatever gets them the highest view count, making it rather low value and possibly harmful to pretty much anyone who watches the show. Why would anyone look up to someone who endorses science? Anyone who does even basic research into some of the so-called professionals that come on the show would realize they're spewing absolute nonsense. I don't know if this is unpopular or not, but I feel like a lot of people look up to her and think of her as both a pioneer and a good person. I don't see it. Lazy, unhinged, and disconnected from reality, or lazy and opportunistic. That's how I see her and her show. Now, other people responded to this post in agreement, saying, I noticed this about Oprah 20 years ago. Once you see her, you can't unsee her. She seems shallow, egotistical, self-absorbed, and all the rest of it. Another said, it wasn't until I was older and seen exactly what her show was about in the 80s and early 90s, and seen she capitalized off making a mockery of her trauma. No longer a role model, just another rich person who snubs their noses at anyone who's gone through life as she has. Makes me sick, actually. While a third person said that she was just straight up evil. So, does Oprah have anything to do with Diddy's crime ring? I honestly wouldn't put it past her. I guess we'll just have to wait for more details to come out to see if she was involved.
Footage has resurfaced of Will Smith participating in a video invitation to Sean Diddy Combs' 29th birthday party, and after everything that has come out about Diddy events, people are wondering just how involved Smith was in the party's activities. We'll get into this and more today in new leaked party footage of Diddy and Will Smith changes everything. In the modern day, Page 6 is the celebrity news site that got their hands on a VHS tape. That is how old this invite is, a VHS tape of the invitation. It's a whole bunch of famous celebrities, including Oprah, Ellen, Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, and more, inviting the recipient to an exclusive Diddy bash. In this section posted to Page 6's YouTube channel, Will Smith has a featured moment saying, "You are cordially invited to celebrate the birth of P. Diddy. No expense appears to be spared aired. In addition to the celebrity cameos, Page 6 reports that at the time, the VHS invite would have been delivered in a black velvet pouch embroidered with the birthday gala and the date of the event, November 4th, 1998. TSG.com actually leaked this birthday invitation and location 2 days before the bash was set to happen. Because this was 1998 though when it leaked, their servers couldn't handle posting the video all at once, so it was only released in roughly 10 to 20 second chunks. And get this, barely anyone has watched these videos. Of the 5 parts, the one with the most views has 157, so it's kind of like you're the first to hear about this decades-old drama. Anyway, the footage is causing a stir because over the past year, Diddy has been hit with many lawsuits accusing the rapper of physically engaging with individuals without consent, forcing people to perform acts or consume things they do not want to, invading privacy, and generally being a bad guy and more. Some of these acts he was committing were done in private. Security footage viral earlier this year of an altercation between Diddy and a past partner of his, in which he was physically rough with her in a deserted hotel hallway. But that doesn't mean untoward things didn't take place in public. A term you are probably hearing a lot when it comes to this situation is freak off. These were parties hosted by Diddy in which all parties present would engage with each other, allegedly not always consensually, and allegedly Diddy would film the events. Many people with suits open against the disgraced rapper who claim to have been involved in these freak-offs say they did not want to be there. However, Diddy's lawyer claims that it was all consensual. The freak-offs part of this scandal is causing problems for many of Hollywood's most famous, as it has become a thing to assume that if someone was spotted at a Diddy party, any Diddy party, then they engaged in a freak-off. That's why all the celebrities in that VHS invite that were so excited to invite people to the birthday party are now being looked at more closely. However, it is worth noting that just because someone attended a Diddy bash doesn't mean they engaged in untoward activities. Freak-offs are commonly reported to have either been planned well in advance with hotels rented and people organized, or that they were a result of late-night partying, so the after party for an event might have turned into a freak-off. Many news publications report that by the time the evening would get to freak-off status, most of the big-name celebrities would have left. Like in the case of Sean Diddy Combs' 2005 VMAs after party. This was attended by stars like Paris Hilton, Eva Longoria, and more. According to the US Sun, as the party switched from a nightclub to Diddy's mansion in the early morning, the big names had long departed the event, and well in his home, the festivities had descended into a freak-off. Footage from the later half of the party allegedly shows Diddy wearing the same outfit he had been in at the VMA party pics. That's how the two situations were connected. But sometimes, even if it's unknown if a party later became a freak-off, that doesn't mean odd things didn't happen. Smith attended and was likewise photographed at a 2004 Diddy party. Now this party in particular, from the photos Smith is in, it doesn't look too strange, a regular party setting. However, other photos that appear to be taken from the same evening show the less family-friendly side of the event. In one photo, you can see an unclothed woman lying on a table surrounded by and with food on top of her body. She has a leaf to protect her lower half, however she is exposed everywhere else. One picture shows Combs standing over that woman and staring down at her while eating what appears to be a chocolate strawberry. The woman is surrounded by chocolate strawberries, grapes, candles, and other food items. The act of eating off an unclothed woman is actually a known Japanese practice that some would consider an art, but was outlawed in China in 2005 after it was deemed a public health concern and morally wrong. Despite the photos from this particular party being available for decades, people are now just starting to analyze them due to all the accusations against Combs. Technically, Diddy was enjoying a Japanese practice, but his past inappropriate actions have made people wonder if the woman on the table was as willing a participant or forced to be there. Again, due to Combs wearing the same outfits in photos with the woman and then later with Will Smith, it appears Smith was in attendance at this particular party. Will Smith and Combs are only pictured talking to one another. It's unclear if Smith also visited that table with the woman or kept his distance. Another example of a Diddy party with freaky elements would be his November 2004 birthday bash. The room was lined with raised levels with curtains at the back, so if guests didn't want to be on the dance floor, they could watch from above, which is admittedly not odd. The weird part came later. As the night went on, the curtains were drawn back to reveal beds, booths, and water-filled porcelain bathtubs. The article also states that screens started displaying the text King Diddy. The booths would be standard for a party setting, but the beds and bathtubs We don't need that. Now that the public is aware of Diddy's disturbing activities behind closed doors, it makes the inclusion of the beds and baths so much worse. The article goes on to confirm that in addition to the famous individuals at the party, it was also attended by performers like acrobats, go-go dancers, and those in other similar lines of work. This article does not touch on if the bathtubs or the beds were used for anything other than a break from tearing up the dance floor. While the VHS invitation is certainly extravagant, it's not the only time Diddy has sent invites as fancy as his events. For his 2002 VMAs after party, the rapper sent out old-timey looking invitations accompanied by, literally, a golden ticket. The golden ticket had all the party details, whereas the paper contained the dress code and other event rules. The men were required to have a clean-shaven haircut. The women also needed to have fancy hair, but also mani-pedis and to be waxed. And everyone had to be dressed up. He specifically called for top designers to be worn, like Gucci, YSL, you get the picture. All in all, little is known about this exclusive event, but the end of the invite features a line that is so much worse with the present-day context added to it. Don't disturb the fancy. Sure, this could mean just show up looking your best so you don't stand out among the other fancy people, but after learning about the beds from a later party, the women on the table, and the freak-offs, it reads as much, much weirder. But the big question, is this invitation real? No idea. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend at the time because I was probably off somewhere learning to walk. Nowadays, as I search for a source, the party was so long ago that there really isn't much. Plus, an invite like this would be really hard to get your hands on. Other than TSG.com, one other news site posted the invite, this time featuring that golden ticket and envelopes. There is a chance that it is in fact real. Either way, the party happened, and if the don't disturb the activities is as weird as it sounds today, then we don't really have to wonder if some untoward things happened at this extravagant affair. But to bring it back as to why you probably clicked this video, the connection between Diddy and Will Smith. Their history includes more than just partying. A rumor made its rounds that while Diddy was dating J-Lo back in the late 90s, early 2000s, Will Smith and his wife had propositioned the Jenny from the Block singer with an invitation to join them in bed. Allegedly, Diddy wasn't too happy with that and threatened to attack Smith. A wild rumor that found its way into a more recent segment of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Never one to shy away from anything, Kimmel straight up asked the rapper if this was true. At first, the music artist made absolutely no movements. He looked very serious, eventually breaking to respond with, "You really heard that?" and laughed the whole thing off, claiming he didn't know what Kimmel was talking about. The talk show host played into the bit, making a remark about how one can't believe everything they read on the internet. Even if the rumor proved to be true, Smith and Combs must have worked it out, considering they were pictured at multiple events together in later years, including the premiere of Hancock in 2008. Yes, plus, in a wild turn of fate, Diddy happened to be the person speaking next at the Oscars the year Will Smith rocked Chris Rock live on television. After the moment, Diddy had come out on stage and said, "I did not know that this year was going to be the most exciting Oscars ever. Okay, Will and Chris, we're going to solve that like family at the gold party, okay? But right now, we are moving on with love." P. Diddy was also one of the first to jump to Smith's defense after that incident. But funny enough, Chris Rock was also heavily featured in that VHS birthday invite we kicked this video off with.
The Kardashians are very good friends with Diddy, and they've been connected to him for years. Now, starting off, there's one photo that was released of Diddy, Paris Hilton, and Kim Kardashian all together at one of Diddy's white parties. Now, this was taken in 2006, 1 year before they started filming Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So even before they really rose to fame, Kim was still seen with the star. Why? Well, Kim worked for and was good friends with Paris Hilton. And Paris, being a young socialite who loved to party, was always at Diddy parties. I mean, in 2008, Paris even spoke out about attending Diddy's first ever party in 1998, saying it was iconic and everyone was there. So if Paris was there and Kim was chasing fame, then there's a connection there. Kim's then boyfriend Ray J was also really good friends with Diddy. We've all been around him, at least in my era, and have looked up to him. And this situation is super unfortunate, but it's important to learn a lesson right now and ensure that the next generation understands how to move differently with transparency and integrity, he continued. The artist said that although the previous generation of performers needs to be accountable for their behavior, I don't think this is a time to tear anybody down. We've never seen the style stuff that's being said and the stuff that people are finding out, like I've never been in rooms that people are talking about and I never knew they existed, he said. But is that true? It seems like we won't know, but the fact that Kim is connected to all of this is shocking. Although Khloe can't remember exactly what she did for the star, she remembers being in the studio and running around. Now, in an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, it was even revealed that she went on tour with Diddy when she was an intern, which is honestly just a little weird, and Khloe has been spotted at multiple Diddy parties since then. Now, there's also been another resurfaced clip from Keeping Up with the Kardashians from 2014, where Khloe tells Kourtney about attending one of these parties. In the clip, Khloe tells Kourtney that she was with a bunch of her friends, which includes Diddy, Quincy Brown, Justin Bieber, and French Montana. I haven't been to bed yet. I got on a plane at 5:30 a.m., she shared. Well, this party, I think half the people were butt naked. Kourtney was unfazed about the comments on partiers stripping down at the bash, and then turned to Khloe's friend to ask if she had met her sister's new crew of friends at the party. No, well, kind of, the friend replied, to which Khloe jumped in, snapping, "Stop talking." When her friend then tried defending herself, telling Khloe that she hadn't revealed anything, Khloe ordered her friend to stop talking. Now, 2 years after this, Khloe then invited Diddy to appear on her Cocktails with Khloe series, where she continuously praised the star. Well, I know you're known for the parties. When you think of a party or a good time, you think of Puff, she said. We've been known to party with you a few times. Now, turning to her sister Kourtney, who was also taking part in the episode, she continued, "You were just at Puffy's birthday." Yes, I forgot about that. That was an epic night too. That night was fun because all the girls ditched me, so it was just me and the boys. It was me, Kanye, Corey Gamble, Tyga, and we were all just hanging out and it was fun. I loved it. Khloe added, "I don't know how you have all the energy, but that's who you are, and that's why people are so drawn to you, because you're so electric. No matter what, no matter how much you work, you don't sleep, you don't do anything, but that's just you," she said about Diddy. Now, Diddy's friendship to the family was still going strong 3 years later, as Khloe posted pictures beside Diddy and her siblings, Kim and Kylie, on December 16, 2019. She posted photos from Diddy's 50th birthday and captioned the post, "Nothing like a Diddy party." Now, the post is still up today. But a resurfaced clip of Kanye West calling out Diddy has been going around, as Kanye used to be really good friends with Diddy, but that all changed. 2 years ago, in 2022, Kanye claimed that Diddy was working with law enforcement, and that's why he was getting away with some of the stuff he was doing. In the interview for Drink Champs in 2022, Kanye called out celebrities for allegedly working with law enforcement to turn on other celebrities so they could avoid prison. Now, one of the celebrities he called out by name was Diddy. Now, the whole interview was eventually deleted due to some offensive things that Kanye said, as it was 2022, and this is when he was having what appeared to be some sort of breakdown. But with people now digging this interview back up, his comments about Diddy hold more weight. Kanye said that Diddy is making deals to keep himself out of trouble. "The reason you gotta talk is because you did a deal you effing fed. That's why you've gotta come at me, because part of the deal for you to be able to do all that and get out of jail is that you promised you're gonna go pull my card," he said. Now, a lot of people didn't take this seriously, as Kanye was acting insane around this time and was honestly just full of hate, but it seems like he might have been right about this. Now, in the end though, Diddy was arrested, so if he did have a deal, it didn't really work out. Now, in 2022 as well, Kanye posted texts between the two of them, and one included Kanye saying, "F you, you fed." So it seems like Kanye knew that there was something up the whole time, and am I saying that we should always listen to whatever Kanye West says? No, definitely not, but maybe he had some points when it came to Diddy and pop culture. Now, old selfies of Kris Jenner and Diddy are resurfacing as well. Corey Gamble, Kris's longtime boyfriend, also plays a role in this drama. Now, as a reminder, Kris and Corey have been dating since 2014. Now, people worry more about whether Kris is caught up in Diddy's drama and whether Corey is involved as well. In an episode of the Juicy Scoop podcast, which Newsweek reported, Spencer Pratt from The Hills discussed the drama, saying, "The new conspiracy theory on TikTok which I'm sure will end this week because she'll pop up on Instagram, but Kris fled the country. No one has seen her since someone raided Diddy's house. Supposedly, she and Corey are on these tapes. This is all allegedly, it's what TikTok is saying. If they ban TikTok, where will we find all these stories? He said. However, since that podcast, Kris has participated in a handful of events and has also uploaded a handful of posts on Instagram, so who knows if it's true. A lot of people believe that Corey must have some knowledge of what was going on, claimed a source. The insider also noted that he totally denies these allegations. However, it's been said that Kris has already started to plan her family's rescue in case things get dirty for her daughters. It's all very ugly and very embarrassing, and Kris is scrambling to distance them from all of this and distract everyone, but that's going to be impossible if they get called to testify. Another source said all these years they bragged about partying with Diddy have of course got everyone assuming that they were somehow involved in these depraved freak-offs, the source said. They then asserted that the family had no idea the sorts of twisted things he was up to after hours. Now, chatting to In Touch magazine, the insider continued, now they suggested that Kris Jenner is presently scrambling to distance the family from all of this.
Diddy party guests who have not been exposed yet. So many A-listers are very afraid of getting caught and being sent to prison right next to Diddy. The Diddy trial is May 5th, and there might be a ton of celebrities who attended his party that he will be calling out. Diddy would have all the video evidence and photos to expose everyone who doesn't help defend him and get him out of these charges. Diddy literally has nothing else to lose. Megan Fox. As soon as fans started to speculate that she was involved with Diddy during these parties, Megan Fox deleted her whole Instagram account and deleted all her tweets. Something for sure happened, and Megan Fox is trying to delete her entire involvement. Machine Gun Kelly was offered a glimpse into Diddy's extravagant lifestyle, recounting a memorable experience where they engaged in a non-stop 2-day party marathon, forgoing sleep entirely. Machine Gun Kelly said he was about 20 years old when he partied with Diddy. But now with all these allegations coming out now about Diddy, I am sure Machine Gun Kelly regrets speaking publicly about anything. We also have LeBron James on this list, who said something insane publicly that I am sure he deeply regrets as well, but we will get to him later. Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio have been close friends for many years, and rumors are just coming out now that Tobey Maguire, yes, Spider-Man has attended some Diddy parties. Apparently he was spotted with 20-year-old Lily Chi at the white parties, and there might be pictures coming to the surface. Heidi Klum might not be able to hide anymore. Photos of Diddy dressed as the Pope at Heidi Klum's 2008 Halloween party have resurfaced. Heidi Klum can no longer say she has not partied with Diddy. Diddy, all dressed up as the Pope, was caught on camera blessing everyone and even dancing on a table at Heidi Klum's party. His girlfriend at the time, Cassie Ventura, was there too in a Wonder Woman costume. Nick Cannon recalled one of his earliest experiences attending a party hosted by Diddy. Nick Cannon recalled attending one of his first Diddy parties as a teenager. Now this is massive because Nick Cannon is stating that he was just a teenager attending these types of parties. I just don't see a world where Diddy isn't convicted and stays in prison for the rest of his life. Nick Cannon was underage when he attended. Nick Cannon on an episode of the Breakfast Club podcast saying he was like 16 or 17 years old when he attended the Diddy party. Nick Cannon is currently 44 years old. These parties have been going on for decades. There must have been hundreds of celebrities who attended these freaky illegal parties. How did this happen for so long? Howard Stern has talked about his Diddy party experience on his show The Howard Stern Show. He said, "There were girls in bathing suits running around by the pool." Despite not suspecting any wrongdoing, Stern described feeling uncomfortable and even abhorrent during his visit to one of Diddy's parties, recalling that he was not even permitted to use the bathroom. Is Howard Stern telling the whole truth? Nothing but the truth? Also, let us know if we missed anyone who you think should be on this list. Usher. He has acknowledged exposure. Usher has acknowledged being exposed to a different set of things while living with Diddy, including adult situations. Usher and Diddy have a significant professional relationship. Diddy mentored Usher early in his career, providing guidance and support as he rose to fame. This mentorship likely fostered a strong bond between them, leading to Usher's frequent attendance at Diddy's events. Justin Bieber. In an old video on his official YouTube channel, Justin Bieber revealed that Usher, his mentor and label executive, loaned him to Diddy for 48 hours. Where we're hanging out and what we're doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him, Diddy stated in the video. Justin Bieber has said many times that in this industry, he has seen so many things that he is not proud of. He was so young and was taken advantage of. That's why Justin Bieber just struggles so much, and he doesn't even enjoy touring anymore and being in the spotlight. He would be devastated if he had to testify during the Diddy hearing. Frequent guest. Naomi Campbell has been a frequent guest at Diddy's parties over the years. There were rumors of a brief romantic involvement between her and Combs in the early 2000s. Ashton Kutcher and Diddy were once close friends. As soon as the news about Diddy came out, Mila Kunis apparently distanced herself from Ashton Kutcher. What does Mila Kunis know? LeBron James has publicly said, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." LeBron James has put himself at the place of a potential crime. When the video clip of LeBron James resurfaced, LeBron James went missing for the Los Angeles Lakers. They listed him as personal time off, but no one knew what was going on. Oprah has been acting very differently. Oprah has attended Diddy's parties. She has been spotted at some of his famous parties, which are known for their star-studded guest lists. Oprah's attendance at Diddy's parties has been documented in photos and media reports. So there is no way for Oprah to deny that she has attended a Diddy party. Oprah would have a lot of information about what actually took place at these parties. Imagine she was summoned into court to give statements. Oprah has not publicly commented on the allegations against Diddy. She has not publicly addressed her past attendance at his parties, or commented on the recent allegations against him. This does not make sense. If you didn't do anything or see anything, why not clear your name on the record? If the allegations against Diddy are proven to be true, Oprah's past association with him could be used against her in legal or reputational battles. Now, imagine seeing Oprah sentenced to prison for life. Russell Brand has spoken about attending a Diddy party in the past. He described it as a white party. Brand has also spoken about leaving the party early, suggesting that he felt uncomfortable or out of place in that environment. He has stated that he felt not qualified to handle stuff that went on at the party, implying that he witnessed or experienced something that made him uneasy. So this does mean Russell Brand does have a lot of information. If he saw things that took place at the party but said nothing, are you not just as guilty? The Weeknd, a globally renowned singer and songwriter, has been photographed at various events with Diddy, suggesting they've socialized together. Jay-Z is about to turn his back on his longtime friend and said that he isn't going to hold back any information. Jay-Z is facing a lawsuit alleging he did something to an underage girl at an after-party for the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. The plaintiff, identified as Jane Doe, claims she was given something and was taken advantage of by Jay-Z and Diddy. The plaintiff, Jane Doe, has been granted anonymity by the court to protect her privacy and mental health. Jay-Z tried to get this case thrown out, but the judge fired back and said this case will move forward. Jay-Z's legal team has argued that the lawsuit is legally flawed and should be dismissed. They have likely raised various legal arguments, such as lack of sufficient evidence, statute of limitations, and potential procedural issues. As of right now, the most likely person to sit in the prison cell with Diddy is his best friend Jay-Z. Diddy is facing multiple lawsuits. Diddy has been facing multiple lawsuits with various allegations, including assault and trafficking. Despite having a strong legal team, Diddy remains in jail. Sources say this has been difficult for him, especially during the holidays. A source close to Diddy, however, refutes claims of a meltdown. They confirm he misses his family dearly, particularly during Christmas, a time he traditionally spends with his children. This news comes as a judge recently ruled that an Alabama woman can proceed anonymously in her lawsuit against Diddy and Jay-Z, accusing them of assault when she was a minor. A far cry from his opulent lifestyle, Diddy faced a bleak Christmas in a Brooklyn jail cell. The disgraced music mogul remains incarcerated, allegedly continuing his refusal of prison meals as his legal proceedings move forward.